Well, welcome to the Mindfulness broadcast, everyone. It is the first Friday of spring in our neck of the woods, and I want to welcome you all to what I feel like ends up being just a busy time of year. And there's just so much happening, and I think I shared that a couple weeks ago, and so I really want to share some just foundational mindfulness tools as we move through this time, so we don't miss it. So we're not suddenly in August and all going, where did it go? Where did time go? Um, the Mindful Masterclass met this week, and we talked about our relationship with time and did our group coaching focused on that. And really this idea of we all have the same 24 hours, right? And then, so when we use that phrase, I don't have time, which is what I shared in the class, something I'm trying to eliminate from my vocabulary, and really thinking about how am I using my time? How am I prioritizing my time? And so we're going to just focus on some real kind of basic mindfulness today. It's going to be a quieter practice than we normally have. Often I guide a lot through the practice, and this morning I'm going to invite some big chunks of quietness. And your work during that time is to just observe what happens to you, catch yourself, and bring yourself back to the moment. So find an anchor, and I'll guide you through the beginning of this. Find an anchor. It can be your breath. It can be your heartbeat. It can be something you're, feeling in your body, like your hands are rubbing together. It can be something that you're staring at on the wall, or the feeling of your feet on the floor, right? So find your single anchor and just try to focus on that experience. And when, not if, when your mind wanders, not once, but many times, your only job is to find yourself wherever you've gone and gently and lovingly and compassionately bring yourself back to your anchor over and over and over again. And in that way, it's almost like reps. When you're working out, what you're doing is building your brain's ability to be mindful. On its own, most of the time, it is mindless. It is going to go on autopilot and into the future and all of those feelings, and into the past with all of those feelings. And so we're really training our brain to be able to come back into a mindful place. I have found this very useful over the last few weeks as I start to, my breath gets higher up in my chest cavity. I find, I get some tension up here. And I start rehearsing oh my gosh, I don't have time. I'm not going to get this done. I don't have time. I don't have time. I don't have time. And I practice it over. And even just saying that right now, I can feel myself kind of, ugh. And so it's catching that and saying, okay, let's come back to this moment. What can I do right now? What does self-care look like right now? What do I need to prioritize right now? Right? So being able to catch that mind of ours. So with that, actually, before I do that, I do want to say in the chat, many of you have had the opportunity to take the power of intention. We offered that a lot during our years of COVID and quarantine and change. And oh my gosh, so much change. But we've offered it less and less as we've kind of gotten back into the routine of things. And we're going to offer it again in May. It's a 4-hour workshop. I'm putting the link in here. We will probably offer it in partnership with OETA, with Oregon Employment and Training Association, and they offer a little discount for members. So I just want to make you aware of it. It's coming. It's a 4-hour workshop that's really focused on you and going deeper into you. We focus a lot on neuroscience and the neuroscience of change, our own cognitive distortions, and some real usable tools to be intentional with our life and with our living. Okay, so now with that, go ahead. You can close your eyes. You can also just take a soft gaze. And just first and foremost, give yourself some gratitude for showing up today. I'm here. I carved out the time. Good on me. This is self care. And as you practice that mindfulness, also create a mindful posture. You've been with us before, I've walked you through that. It's one that's really what I call attentive. So we're letting go of rigidity, of a rigid spine, and we're also letting go of just complete and total flop relaxation. So we're really bringing some energy into the body. And say hello to our body as we do that, greeting any creaking, groaning parts of our body. Noticing if there's any parts of your body that want to stretch or a bend or a rub. And also just paying attention to any of parts of your body that, like your heart or your belly, or possibly your hands together or rubbing, that just might be calling to you. I find that when I'm really focusing on myself in silence, putting a hand on my heart and one on my belly helps me. But find whatever your body is calling for. And then just gently notice your breath, inviting it a little bit more deeply into the belly, allowing it to just calm and relax and presence your body as you inhale and exhale. And now bring your attention to some point of focus for you. You don't have to work very hard for this. It can really just simply be feeling your breath as it enters your nostrils. It can be feeling your breath in your belly. Might be feeling your heartbeat if your hand is on your chest. You may want to open your eyes and find something that you have right around you that you've surrounded yourself with as a place of beauty. Maybe it's an inspirational quote or some trinket that brings you ease or peace. You might find that your anchor is a place in your mind, a place of fantasy, or some place you've been that really speaks to your senses. Bring that to mind or into focus. And this is your anchor. This is what we'll call home for this practice. And our work in this practice is to just focus on that anchor, inviting in, we'll say, a beginner's mindset, that curiosity, that exploration, taking time to notice details that we maybe haven't in a while. Being curious about it. And so I'll leave you at that place for a while. And a few times throughout the silence, I'll invite you to Just notice where your focus is and to lovingly bring it back home. And we don't have to shame ourselves or think, oh, I was doing it wrong. It's the human experience to have a busy mind. So we might just say, going home. Notice if your mind has wandered. If you find that when your mind wanders, you keep going to the same thing, maybe just check that out a little bit before you go back home. What is it about this that keeps calling my attention? What are my thoughts about this? And once you've explored it, go back home, back to your anchor. If you find that you are getting distracted by external noises, for those of you who are doing this among others, rather than resisting that noise, allow it to be part of the process. So if you find that you're meeting that noise with frustration, or your mind is saying, I can't do this while people are talking, that's just our brain being uncomfortable. And so you might just say this too, and this too, or allow yourself to go explore those sounds. Are those nails on keyboards? Is that a door opening? Is that the voice of a colleague? The heater kicking on? Noticing when your mind has wandered, maybe even meeting it with humor, acceptance, and then inviting it back home, back to your anchor. And as we close, allowing your focus to lift, just noticing your breath together, noticing what your body and maybe what's different than what was there a few minutes ago. slowly opening your eyes and coming back together. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for being here. Welcome to spring. Have a lovely day.